debates, and we've got a guy who literally can't walk, but is smart enough to smile and snark and make comments like, I didn't realize I was that powerful. You know, he probably doesn't, frankly, Laura. He probably doesn't, because it's probably not him. But there are definitely puppets, and those puppets are coming from the Biden administration and probably from prior administrations, and they are out to get Trump because they can't beat him. And that's obvious if you look at the crowds of people, if you look at the polls.
Yeah, Alina, are you saying that you believe former Obama administration officials are also somehow involved, at least in the background here?
Well, I find it a little bit odd that he never left Washington, and then when he did, he goes to beaches as well. I find it odd that him and the Clintons are flying on Air Force One with President Biden. I also find it odd that we have a president that can't speak or walk. But here we are. This is this America, and we cannot survive another 4 years of it.
Well, Alina, Michael Cohen had a message for Trump today.
So that's what they're saying right now. That's Donald Trump's spokesperson, Alina Habba, and lawyer. And she's out there saying that she and Donald Trump and all of the MAGAs believe that former President Barack Obama is behind the criminal conviction of Donald Trump. Everything is rigged. There's secret cabals. And because former President Obama goes to the beach and he's on airplanes and he has a house in Washington, D.C., if you connect those dots and also perhaps insert a worm into your brain, a la RFK Jr., you can come to the conclusion that what really happened in New York was not Donald Trump falsifying business records to cover up hush money payments to a porn star while his wife had just given birth to Barron to avoid the news coming out during the 2016 election, or that Donald Trump was too cowardly to testify, or that they called up the MAGA lawyer Robert Costello, who just basically collapsed on the stand. We could, no. Former President Barack Obama was behind it all. That's what they're saying. I mean, folks, this is not just the opposite of law and order. This is the depths of depravity of some of the weirdest and strangest stuff. Let me show you what else Alina Habba was saying as part of her right-wing media tour, this coping tour, this just make the propaganda as ridiculous as possible. Alina Habba goes, you see what I'm trying to do here, Laura Ingraham, is I'm the lawyer for all the non-lawyers out there. I'm speaking for you all. No, Alina Habba, you are speaking with less knowledge than a non-lawyer. You're speaking with less knowledge and with an intent to maliciously deceive that is so sadistic. It is so embarrassing for our legal profession. But play this clip.
Laura, look, I think that it's very clear what happened here. You know it. I know it. We're lawyers. And for the non-lawyers out there, this was a farce from the beginning. The indictment itself didn't make sense. It was flawed. It should never have been brought.
Habba, don't you have somewhere to go? Can't you just take another trip to St. Bart's with all that money that Mr. and Mrs. Magadonia are paying you? Haven't you made over $5 million now? I know in one of the last disclosures 9 months ago or so, you made about $3.5 million with all of this ridiculous stuff that you do, losing the civil fraud case, losing the E. Jean Carroll case, essentially losing everything you do, being sanctioned in the Southern District of Florida, nearly $1 million, losing the defamation case against the New York Times. Can't you just go and buy your friends more Dior and Gucci bags and get them individualized bathrobes and flaunt all that MAGA money for Mr. and Mrs. Magadonia? Can't you just go and party in Mar-a-Lago and do that? Do you really have to go on right-wing propaganda networks in order to just deceive the American public so maliciously in such a well, I guess that's how you get paid all that much money, but not sure how you sleep at night, or I'll stop right there. Here, Alina Habba says that what their plan is, she doesn't explain how they're going to do this. They're going to go directly to the Supreme Court. You're going to go to Alito's house with the upside down flags. Now you're going to go to Clarence Thomas with the insurrectionist wife. Maybe you're just going to go to them and ask them, but that she's going right to the Supreme Court right now. It doesn't explain the process or procedure for that, but they're going to ask their buddies in the Supreme Court for some help. Listen to what Habba has to say on Fox Business. Play this clip.
So we had experts on last night saying this is just, a thing, to get the statement out there. Trump's a convicted felon because they know they're going to get it overturned on appeal.
Right.
I mean, Harvey Weinstein's conviction was overturned by the New York Appeals Court, but that wasn't until 4 years later. Do you guys plan to go to as high as the Supreme Court?
If we have to, we will. We have no problem with that. As you know, we've taken those matters that we think are incredibly important to validating and preserving the Constitution that our country was made on. There were incredible constitutional violations in this whole proceeding, including the current gag order that's on me, the president, and anybody that works for him. It's crazy. So, look, if we care about America, we have to fight for it. And his legal team is prepared to do so in whatever way we need to do.
By the way, why is this even being discussed on Fox Business, right? Are you supposed to be a business channel? It's just another propaganda network. I mean, today, or on Friday rather, the stock market hit record highs, with all of the MAGA people saying that if Donald Trump is convicted, the stock market is going to crash. That's what they always say. It's always fear. This is going to crash, that, and they're always wrong about everything. Just to show you, this is what they were saying as well on Fox, just to be clear. Play this clip.
If there is a conviction, what happens to markets tomorrow? Very simple.
I think markets crash tomorrow if there's a conviction.
If there's a conviction, you think there'll be a crash?
I think the markets will do very badly.
What are you talking about, 1,000-point loss?
I think we'll see at least a 2% drop.
The Dow surged 575 for its best day of 2024.
Yeah, and you see the stock market at record highs. Not that we should judge our economy based on the success of the stock market, but let's be clear, it's like double what it was under Donald Trump. And any time Donald Trump had the stock market increase, that's all we heard, not just from Fox and Fox Business, but corporate media and everyone else. Oh, the stock market, the stock market. Now that it's like record highs, not even Donald Trump's stock market is very low compared to what President Biden did. And President Biden has actually a bottom-up, middle-out economy, which is actually helping Americans. But let's use Fox Business to spread more of this ridiculous filth being spewed from Alina Habba. Oh, yeah, and here Alina Habba compares Donald Trump's appeal to Harvey Weinstein. So that's a good comparison there, Alina Habba. Here, play this clip.
So we had experts on last night saying this is just, a thing, to get the statement out there. Trump's a convicted felon because they know they're going to get it overturned on appeal.
Right.
I mean, Harvey Weinstein's conviction was overturned by the New York Appeals Court, but that wasn't until 4 years later. Do you guys plan to go to as high as the Supreme Court?
If we have to, we will. We have no problem with that. As you know, we've taken those matters that we think are incredibly important to validating and preserving the Constitution that our country was made on. There were incredible constitutional violations in this whole proceeding, including the current gag order that's on me, the president, and anybody that works for him. It's crazy. So, look, if we care about America, we have to fight for it. And his legal team is prepared to do so in whatever way we need to do.
Then, of course, Alina Habba does that thing that all the Trumps do. Random people approach me and they have tears in their eyes and they say, keep doing what you're doing, Alina. We love your trips to St. Bart. We want you to buy more of your rich friends' Gucci bags and Chanel and stay at more incredible 5-star resorts in St. Bart's with Mr. and Mrs. That's how you can make America special. Here, play this clip.
What they don't want what is going on right now, I assure you, because when I walk in the streets in New York by myself, I am praised and loved. And I will tell you, President Trump, what we saw today was people streaming up and down the streets, waiting to see him just to give him a thumbs up. We drove down and down, and the numbers just don't lie. Look.
Then Fox Business, again, not focused on business, talking to Alina Habba, and what are they talking about? They go, the jury didn't have to be unanimous. They weren't unanimous. The jury has to be unanimous. It is a criminal case. They have to be unanimous that a crime was committed. They have to find that Donald Trump falsified business records. That is what they found. Under New York law, this is not unique to Donald Trump. In order for it to be a felony, regarding the additional crimes that Donald Trump was trying to cover up, that doesn't have to be unanimous. But what does have to be unanimous is that Donald Trump was covering up the crime, that crimes were committed, that he was covering up a crime. That has to be unanimous. That's what New York law is on all cases. This isn't the unique, the Donald Trump rule. This is just what the law is here. But play this clip and you'll just see how they lie to their audience over and over again.
On this. And, you know, how can Trump's legal team appeal and defend against what they don't know what exact crime Trump was convicted for? The jury still did not indicate what exactly was the core underlying law broken behind the charge of influencing election. Plus, the jury didn't have to be unanimous on it. I mean, isn't it easier to convict when you strip a defendant of their due process rights?
It's very easy to reverse when you fail to identify what the crime is, when you fail to have them say that you have to select what the intent to cover up, what the scheme was. If you look at what Alvin Bragg said yesterday, I think it's most telling. He had his narrative set, and the truth was it was false. He said that he was guilty of trying to effectively steal an election in 2016, but that's not true. That is not what he was found guilty of by this jury. And frankly, that's what he was hoping the narrative would be, but they couldn't find a crime, so they gave them a slew of options to select from. And then they said, you're guilty of one of these four things. You don't have to decide which all unanimously, but you just have to say that there was some sort of intent to do some sort of crime. We don't know what the crime is, but by the way, that is the grounds for the appeal.
And then Alina Habba goes, look, I'm speaking with MSNBC and CNN, which she's not. They want to join forces. Okay, go do that. Go on Rachel Maddow, Alina Habba. Play this clip.
It is intentional. This is not America. And I'm speaking to MSNBC viewers and CNN viewers, the Rachel Maddows, the Caitlin Collins. It is time to come together because this administration does not care about us. They do not. They care about themselves.
They don't care either because they got what they wanted politically. And
that's right.
You know, for them, it doesn't matter. The ends justify the means.
And finally, you see what Alina Habba was saying there. She's like, and President Biden can't even speak and he smiles at the camera. Okay, Alina, let's do this. First, let me show you the moment where this bugged you right here, where President Biden said, I guess I'm all powerful. This is what really got under your skin. Play this clip.
Do you think this conviction helps Trump in the election? Are you worried that this could happen to you someday? Somebody comes up with some charges and tries to bring you into court after your term?
The system still works.
And when Trump says you're just trying to bruise him, what do you say? Politically, he thinks you're pulling the strings behind the scenes, doing all this to help yourself.
I didn't know it's that powerful.
Okay, now let me show you President Biden's speech from earlier in the day on Friday. Play this clip.
That's how the American system of justice works. And it's reckless, it's dangerous, it's irresponsible for anyone to say this was rigged just because they don't like the verdict. Our justice system has endured for nearly 250 years. And it literally is the cornerstone of America, our justice system. The justice system should be respected, and we should never allow anyone to tear it down. It's as simple as that. That's America. That's who we are. And that's who we'll always be, God willing.
All right. And then let me compare it to what Donald Trump was saying when Donald Trump was speaking at or around the same time in New York. Play this clip.
The judge allowed them to go into everything that I was ever involved in, not this case, everything that I was ever involved in, which is a first. In other words, you could go into every single thing that I ever did. Was he a bad boy here? Was he a bad boy there? And my lawyer said, what do you need to go through? And all you wanted to do is testify simply on this case. Because I would have loved to have testified. To this day, I would have liked to have testified. But you would have said something out of whack, like it was a beautiful sunny day and it was actually raining out. And I very much appreciate the big crowd of people outside. That's incredible what's happening. The level of support has been incredible.
I don't know. As I watch those clips, it seems like Donald Trump is the one who can't really speak. He calls himself a bad boy. He says that if I have to testify, they're going to tell me that I'm a bad boy. Let's think about that. Think about that. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 3 million subscribers. Thanks to your support. We're almost there. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.